Good afternoon, everyone. Dig the Falls here. Going live again for another Tuesday. I'm going to try to do my best not to stammer as much as I did the last broadcast. It was kind of a rough weekend, and I didn't have much sleep. So hopefully this time I'll do a little bit better. I've been practicing a little bit in the bathroom mirror. So here we go. Dig the Falls. We're devoted to New York State waterfalls, but we also get out, clean up litter, do some trail building. We also clean up the trails, make them better for the surrounding community. One of our bigger projects to date is the Troy Narrows project. It's Narrows, Cascade, and Heritage Trail. Several miles of trail, a dozen waterfalls. Some of the trail we've broken brand new last year, and some of it we're just maintaining and making better. So June 12th, we'll be there for a NY Second Saturday. We'll be out there with everyone from kids to older adults to pretty much everyone in between. So everyone of every skill is welcomed. We have some fun things, we have some challenging things. It all depends on really what you want to contribute. So June 12th, 9:30 at the Burton Pond Preserve in Troy. Anybody can get a hold of myself or anybody with the Narrows project as well. Just Google Narrows, Cascade, and Heritage Trail, and you'll find John Johansson or one of the other fellows that are involved with the project. We can get you directions. We can get you pretty much anything you need. But that kind of brings me to one of my first subjects that I want to talk about. It's going to be probably coming into full effect now that everything is opening up. There's going to be a lot more people on the trail, a lot of people traveling out, getting out there. I don't know if this means that we're going to have a lot more people at the bars and restaurants, or if we're going to see what we did at the beginning of the pandemic, where people were traveling to all of these hiking destinations. The problem with that is they were filling up lots with cars and then parking on sides of roads, very dangerous. But the other problem is I don't believe they really knew or had the proper education for hiking etiquette and the pack in, pack out, leave no trace principles. So I wanted to kind of touch on that. I'm hoping that a couple of teammates will jump on because they could kind of add a little to the conversation as well. But basically, we've seen a lot of litter this year. It's always been there. We've always seen some litter on the side of the trail, but the post-pandemic hiking has been incredible with all the masks, all the poop bags, all the diapers, everything else that everyone's leaving on the trails. And what I'd like to say to everyone is, even if you're able to take out one piece, you don't have to have a bag with you. At the bottom, you see the 2 bucket challenge. I carry buckets with me because it's easier. I also have a backpack that I shove the stuff in. I don't care. I've got one pocket that I devote specifically to trash, so I really don't care what goes in there. But I carry things with me so I can carry more things out. But it's just kind of tough getting out there and walking through the woods. Geez, I was actually out in the woods with my sons. I think it was last Wednesday, I believe. And I found a 2 foot by 4 foot metal grate that's used for preparing food over an open fire or something like that. Like it's partially chrome, so it was a really nice piece of metal, but it was literally like half a mile back into the woods. So I wound up hiking that out with my boys, and I took it home. It was in good enough shape. I'm going to clean it up and repurpose it. But it's just sad to see most of the trail had been cleaned up, but then you come across something kind of really random like that. So I'm not saying everyone does oddball things like that, but usually it's something as simple as like a candy wrapper or a gum wrapper or even the cigarette butts. Personal pet peeve of mine. Everyone, they're they're okay to do whatever they want, you know, smoke or not smoke. But you know, I'd prefer not seeing the cigarette butts left on the trails and in the parking lots, especially because my kids literally every time they get out of the car, they know what we're doing there. We're going to be picking up trash. So the very first thing they do when they jump out of the car, start scanning the parking lot, and they're finding rubber gloves, they're finding cigarette butts, they're finding food containers, all things with, you know, people's, you know, germs and saliva and things. And I really don't want them touching things. And we're trying to teach them, but at the same time, we don't want to stifle their helpful natures and their want and need to have a clean area to hike in. There's some other more vile things that we found on the side of these parking lots that are just completely disgusting. And I would ask everyone to kind of rethink what they're doing there as well, because these kids are walking around and they're going to touch those things. And it's challenging not to get angry at the thought of that. Luckily enough, my kids haven't found anything like that, so they haven't had the chance to even come close to something like that. But you know, please be considerate of that one thing at least. You know, I've been seeing a lot more poop bags on the side of the trails. It had gotten really good for a while, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, there's a plethora of poop bags on the side of the trails. And I know I used to do it too. You set it on the side of the trail. Oh, I'll grab it when we come back, and ultimately you always forget. So sometimes it's easier just to walk it back before even continuing on the trail. You know, and I know those things stink, so I totally understand. I've had plenty of dogs, so I understand. But please pick that out. I could actually, I actually want to share some, and I want to see if I can do this. Share my screen and show a couple of things. Let's see here. Oh, hold on. Yeah, okay. All right. Let's go. I'm really hoping that didn't drop me out here. Here we go. Okay. So share. Oh, shoot. It's not going to do it. That's really unfortunate. So I was going to share some photos of, you know, basically what we have found. And unfortunately, you know what I'll do? I'll pop it up on my phone because I'm pretty sure I could pick it up on my phone and show you. But, you know, like this is the type of stuff, and this is an example of what we're going to be, we either have or we're going to be cleaning up in the past, present, and future. But you can see right there that, you know, that's a ridiculous amount of garbage. And I couldn't, that day there was so much trash there that I felt so overwhelmed that I couldn't really do anything about that. So I'm, you know, we will go back, we will clean it up. But you know, as you can see, you know, we've got 2 bucket challenge here with blue Lowe's buckets. Then let's see here, what else do we have? I've picked up, I don't know how many diapers. It's ridiculous, but you know, we've done things like this. You know, people have done some really amazing things on our team, and it's really great to see. That one is shout out to Turtle Straws on Instagram. She's awesome. She's out there doing the sustainable living thing. She's got, you know, some great ideas and some hacks on her page. So check her out on Instagram. But you know, really, what the biggest thing I'd like to kind of take from that, you know, and I'm not even getting in as far into detail as the leave no trace, because you know a lot of people may find that a little overboard. Is just pack in, pack out. You know, don't leave it for others or others' kids, because ultimately the kids will find it. You know, they've got better eyes than all of us adults. They'll find it and they'll pick it up. So be conscious of that. I'm going to touch again on. Actually, I want to go back because you know, I wrote down 3 spots that were completely closed down, and actually 4 spots. Caterskill Falls area was completely shut down for a while because of the traffic was just so crazy. Delphi Falls, which was a newly opened park a couple of years ago. Last year they shut it down because of all the trash that was there. So, and it was brand new park got completely shut down because you know people just couldn't be considerate enough to take their stuff. They're leaving grills, they're leaving campfires, they're leaving cans and bottles and everything else. And Barberville Falls for years had been shut down during on season, so the warmer weather. Basically, the last time I went there, several years back, you I couldn't walk into the water at the base of the falls without any kind of normal shoes on because there was so much glass. There was probably just as much glass as there were stones in the actual edges of that water. It was just incredible. They've got fire pits all over the place. It's a big party spot. It's out in the boonies, but it's really unfortunate. Luckily, they've done some tuning up to the area and they've opened it back up. And I'm really glad to see that because it's a beautiful spot for everyone to go. And Blue Hole, some people know of Blue Hole that was shut down, and now they've got a permit system. One of our team members, Stosh Russin, went out. He took out something like 10 big black garbage bags full of trash out of there one day. So, and that wasn't all of it. And I'm sure, if he had gone back a couple weeks later, it would have been the exact same way. So, so it's unfortunate, but it is what it is. What you can do, what makes it really easy to kind of participate and kind of show that even a tiniest bit makes a big difference is if you hashtag NY Second Saturday on any second Saturday of any month of the year and show that you've got like one piece. All you need is one piece of litter in your hand, or that you are out on the trail with your friends, with your kids. Just pop it up there on social media and just show people that you're getting out. Just getting out in general, makes a big difference. So, and then I'm going to reiterate June 12th, we're going to kind of officially kick off this New York Second Saturdays season by being at Bird Pond Preserve in Troy, New York. I'm going to try to stay on long enough for a teammate to get on here. What I'm going to do is anybody that jumps on, next time somebody jumps on, nobody's watching right now, but anytime somebody jumps on, I'm going to try to answer any question, comment, or request they have, because I really want to make this a little more interactive. I want to make sure that people can either have their voices heard or at least let us know we're doing a good job, bad job, mediocre. I'm good with mediocre as long as it's making some kind of difference. But we went hiking, or I should say, I went hiking. Well, we went hiking over the weekend, and it's a cute little area close by to where we live, outside of Glenville. And I picked up some mushrooms because I'm always looking for mushrooms while I'm on a trail. And I found some really, really great turkey tail, and I've been meaning to try this for a while. Turkey tail is kind of like it's a really tough mushroom. It's you're not going to eat it, but you make it into basically a tea, and it's going to be a little bit you it's going to have a different flavor, like kind of a woodsy flavor. Sometimes a little bit tart, but I've heard it described, but I haven't actually had it yet. So I'm kind of excited. I'm gonna make some actual tea out of this, and it has some healing properties, anti-inflammatory, things like that. So I'm excited to see if I actually even feel anything from it. But probably, I'm rarely sick, so I don't really need that. But I'm pretty excited to try this. So, and they're really easy to distinguish from all the other varieties. They're very thin. They're very kind of, they're hard, and they've got this kind of really cool pattern. So if you look underneath, it kind of has this kind of cool little, the spores are kind of, I don't know, they're just kind of interesting to look at. So, and then the other thing I found a lot of was some pheasant back. So these are a little bit long in the tooth. I usually try to get them younger, but I mean, you can find them. They look, kind of funny sometimes, but they smell like cucumber. This one actually is kind of minty, kind of weird. But if they're really big, you usually cut around like the edge. You'll get like say like the inch and a half around here, and that's like the most tender parts. And I usually slice them up and then cook them in some butter, maybe throw them into some soups and stuff, things like that. But if anybody has any questions, comments, or requests, pop in. I want to make this a little interactive, so if you have any questions or anything, please, feel free to comment. But I've been trying really hard to find more things to kind of forage this year, just to kind of force myself to learn it quite a bit more. I've been following a couple people on TikTok, and they're foragers, and they've got some really great content. And they've actually just from the 30 to 60 second little videos, I've learned so much from that. So I've been looking for a lot of different plants. So tried a couple of salads this year. A couple of them made my stomach upset, but I think that was just because I didn't wash them off well enough. But I mean, otherwise they were very good. I made this really cool simple syrup, and basically it's 2 cups sugar, 2 cups water, and then I grabbed 4 cups of lilac flowers. And you bring the water to a boil, put in the sugar, make sure it's all mixed up, and then you take the flowers, cleaned of course, and you throw them in there and let it boil for a couple minutes, and then take it off the heat and let it simmer for anywhere between 4 and 8 hours, depending on how much you want to pull out of the flowers. And what I found interesting about it was when I took the simple syrup, I'd take, say, 2 tablespoons. I'd put it into my drink, my clear beverage, vodka or whatever you want to do. It would have kind of like a greenish glow to it, or like it was kind of earthy green. But as soon as I put my tonic in there, I don't know if it was oxidation that caused it, it would turn bright pink. It was pretty cool, actually. So I'm excited to try that with a couple of other different different plants as well. So, but right now it's a little bit too dry to be finding too many mushrooms unless you're out near a creek or a riverbed. So I'm leaning toward like the stinging nettle. I haven't found any this year, but I'm still looking, and some of the other greener parts of the forest. So, and again, if you have any questions, comments, requests, feel free to drop them in the comments here, and I'll bring them up. But a lot of people, when I'm talking to them about waterfalls, they like to ask what my favorite waterfall is, and I have to say that I don't have a favorite waterfall or even a favorite region for waterfalls, just because they all are so very different. I know John Haywood, he kind of specializes in the Adirondack region. He kind of adopted that region, and he does very well with finding the waterfalls, documenting them, and photographing them. He's a great photographer. And then Stosh Russin, he's kind of adopted the Catskill region because of being part of the 3500 Club and search and rescue down there. So he gets to do that, and I think I'm a little bit more like Bobby Sweeting, where I generalize. I'll go to any part of the state and check out any waterfall. I'm good with that. But what I do like is some of the stories that go along with the waterfalls. That's what kind of makes it a little more special for me. Sometimes it's just the fact that I get to show up and the fog is out and it's partially obscuring the waterfalls, or it's just shrouding the waterfalls all the way around. I've got some of those pictures in my book that I did. And John actually redid this book, but this was the first edition for the 100 Waterfalls Challenge. But one of the coolest, kind of craziest stories that I had kind of went along with High Falls on Salmon River And I don't know if anybody's ever really, if you have the book, you know which one I'm talking about. It's a beautiful spot. Like the waterfall is just, it's just an amazing spot. And they've got old mills next to the actual uh, river as you're coming down through. But you actually wind up having to drive down this kind of bumpy dirt road, and it dead ends because the river, whether it washed out or whether they just didn't want to replace it at one time or another. So it's a bumpy dirt road, and I drove down there. It was pretty early in the morning at the time, and I got down there, and there's this brand new Volvo just sitting there on the side of the road in the parking area. Yeah, this is kind of weird. Who's going to drive a brand new Volvo way out here? And so whatever, I get out, I get my gear ready, and get my camera, and I start hiking to the little trailhead. And this dude, no lie, he had a shirt, tie, and a coat, everything. Like, even had the dress shoes. I'm like, what is this guy doing? Like, it's I felt like maybe he was part of the mafia. I told myself in my head, yeah, he's a mafia guy. He just dropped the body out back. But it made the trip kind of freaky, but it was also a lot of fun for me. 'Cause it made that trip memorable. And then along with the really great walk, the trail was tiny. It's like a little single track trail for most of it, and you go by some of the remains of some old mills, and then finally you reach the main waterfall. And the river kind of makes a kind of a 90-degree at the bottom of the waterfall, so you get to see this fanning effect of the waterfall coming down and then just shooting off, and it's really, really quite amazing. um, but then you have places like John Boyd Thatcher Park, where it's high enough in elevation, in association with everything else around it, that it gets to catch some of the clouds. And it's I don't know if I can even pull that up really quick here. It gets to catch the clouds when the weather is turning, so you get a really, really great uh, effect from that, a fog effect from that. And I mean, if I wanted to, I could pull you over to my living room. I've got this printed in my living room, actually, because I love the photo so much. But let me see if I can find it fast enough for you. It's probably not gonna take. Gonna go through the whole book, apparently. Yeah, I'll find it. But I really love that park because, I mean, there's about 17 waterfalls in the park. The problem is that when you're 42, when you're uh, there during the summertime, pretty much everything is dry, because a lot of it's just rocky landscape, basically. So very, very fossil bearing rock too, which is actually kind of cool. But so this is kind of what I got to see from that spot there. It was such a beautiful spot. And that was early in the season and just after rain, so I had a good flow. But if you go during the summertime, middle of summer, dry, you're lucky to get a trickle. At the base of the waterfall, you'll have like a small little stream coming out, because there's caves in the area. That goes for a couple of the other waterfalls as well, but you don't get much of a flow during the summertime, which is kind of unfortunate. So, but I'd be interested to hear if anybody else had kind of favorites that they like to go to, because there might be some favorites that I haven't been to. And with there's over 3,500 waterfalls in the state, so, like, we're bound to find several dozen that any one of us haven't been to. So, um, but I grew up in Western New York, so I know a lot of the Western New York waterfalls. We used to go to Niagara Falls constantly, and I love the waterfall, but I probably won't ever visit again. Only because it is so riddled with tourists, and all the kind of tourist trap kind of stuff. So I tend to stick to the smaller stuff. I grew Letchworth State Park was right in my backyard, so I would go there constantly with my friends. We walked the old trestle before it was replaced last year. We would go on a Nunde side. We'd hang out there for a while. But there were some really, really great spots there that we love to go to. And I would say that's probably, if I had to pick a favorite in a region anyway, Letchworth State Park would definitely be it. Stony Brook would be a second choice for that region. And then Watkins Glen would be one of mine on the for Finger Lakes region, because I used to go there all the time as a kid, and Watkins Glen was kind of like a good memory spot for us. We would go there and we would just spend the whole day walking up the gorge and checking out the waterfalls. It's funny because up until I was maybe 30, 35, I had never even stayed at the campground there. And then finally, one summer, my wife and I and a bunch of my friends went up there and we had a great time. Got a great campground up there. And, I would definitely suggest it to anybody. But even near Watkins Glen, there's, a dozen other waterfalls that you can visit that are just as beautiful, and barely anybody goes to them. So I would definitely do some research there, and you'll find out that there's a lot around that region. So, and then, you go a little bit further, and I know this is kind of probably one of those easy choices for everyone, but you go a little bit further east, and I would say Chittenango Falls is a really great one. Everyone kind of calls out Taconic Falls, and while that one is like a really, really fantastic, awesome one, it's like I feel like everyone's kind of turned that into the new Niagara Falls, I guess, because everyone takes a picture and, you know, Cara, yeah, you're right. Waverly Glen, absolutely. We've been neglecting that area, so I think you're totally right about Waverly Glen. I haven't been there. I need to get there for sure. And I think there's probably dozens of other spots that I need to that I haven't. And what's really been keeping me holding me back for like the last 6 years now is when we had my daughter, that kind of put the end to a lot of the hiking, just because I was one of those parents that was like, oh, you can't hike with kids. And then a couple years later, we see these people finishing up the 46ers with kids on their backs. So I figured, yeah, learn, you live and learn. But with your first kid, my first thought anyway was like, how do people do this with more than one kid? Like, literally, I'm doing everything for, like, me and my wife, for a full-time job was just taking care of her. Like, how do you literally do anything else when you've got more than one kid? But then, lo and behold, 2 years later, we have twin boys, and then we learn, holy cow, it's just nuts. So, but now the boys are 4 years old. I can take them on a hike, and they listen on the trail. So I can actually definitely hike a lot more now, which is nice. So we're going to be getting out to a lot more waterfalls very soon. And Cara, you're right. We need to get the whole team, maybe even some of our community members out to Waverly Glen. That would be awesome. So I would love to do that. Maybe we'll create a little Facebook group just for that, just to get some people out there. It'd be awesome. But so yeah, but having the kids kind of stifled my hiking for quite a long time, and then switching careers a couple of times kind of stifled the amount that we could the amount of time that we had, actually. But yeah, what we're planning on doing hopefully this year is we're going to finish off the 100 Waterfall Challenge with the kids. So we in the last 3 years we've been to 3 of the 100 locations. So that tells you how good of a track we're on right now. But I'm hoping that we're going to be doing a heck of a lot more of that this year, because so far the summers turned out to be, well, it went from like cold to like hot out of nowhere. So I'm kind of loving it. The garden's loving it. We've got a giant garden outside that I'm looking at right now. But so I'm really looking forward to it. If anybody has been doing the 50 Waterfalls Challenge, it has its own website now. Look up the page on Facebook. The website's there. We also saved it on, or shared it on Dig the Falls website or page on Facebook as well. So that'll kind of centralize that a little bit more. So we can be a lot, or John can be a lot more responsive to all the requests and the questions and stuff, because he does get a lot of questions about that. So, but yeah, so I mean that's kind of it. I talked about leave no trace and New York Second Saturdays, and like I was saying, if you guys have any questions, comments, requests, I'm very happy to answer pretty much anything, any question you guys have. I'd be pretty much open to answering. I'm hoping that I can possibly do a couple of lives or maybe just a lot more videos of us on the trails. If you guys are open to seeing just the waterfalls and not including the kids, I'll do that. If you guys want me to include the kids in some of the shots having fun, I'll do that. They love running up ahead of us and jumping in all the puddles and stuff, so I can get some of that stuff too. But we'll be bringing Lily, our new dog, on a lot of the hikes. She's a big black and white wolfhound and some kind of herding dog. I'm not even sure. She's absolutely insane, but she's the coolest dog ever now. But we'll be bringing her too, so we can include her in some of the pictures too. But so anyway, I'm gonna probably wrap it up unless anybody else has any questions. I think probably next time we're gonna try to get a guest on. I don't know. We'll see. Or maybe we can just get more team members on. Who knows? But for now, I'd have to say happy waterfalling. If you do have any questions, any comments, anything, leave them in there and we'll follow up. This video is going to be posted to Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. So leave some comments for us. Let us know. I want to shout out Upstate Experience. Check them out. Turtle Straws. Check her out. And then I'm in a bunch of Facebook groups, and I'd love to be able to shout all of them out. But actually, we might have Donna jump on right now. So maybe I'll stay on for another couple minutes with Donna. Because I'd love to talk to her. I haven't talked to her in a while, and it's always nice to chat. I see a smiling face on it, other than this mug here. So, actually, what I want to do is check this out, guys. So, this ring right here, it's called an Aura ring. I don't know if anybody's heard about this. I have to worry about snagging watches and stuff on, in my daily work and stuff like that, and I'm always just worried about breaking watches. I've had a watch actually catch on a box and almost break my wrist once. So this ring is actually, it's got a temp sensor, heart monitor, pedometer. Like it tracks my sleep, it tracks like my heart rate, my temperature, everything. Like everything. Like I guess iPhone or an Apple iWatch will do this, all those things too. But it's pretty incredible. Like just a ring, and it takes care of all that for you. So if you don't like wearing watches or anything, I would definitely check out the Aura, Oura. I'm not a sponsor or anything. I just really love the ring, and it's titanium on the outside. So I got it a tiny bit scratched up, like stacking blocks the other day. But other than that, like no dings, no nothing, and this thing is amazing. So I would definitely check it out. Yeah, Donna's definitely good. Come on, that's awesome. That's great. But it's something that's actually helped me. I've lost about I think 7 pounds now, just because it helps me kind of track my sleep. I wasn't sleeping very well. Gives me my latency, my HRV, like all that crazy stuff. So and I would say Donna, just give me a thumbs up if you're ready. And I can pop you on at any time. And I'm probably going to be asking Donna all about her travels the last couple of weeks. Sounds like she's been very busy. So, okay, let's pop her on there. Donna.
Hello.
Hey, I'm going to change the screen format. There we go.
There
now
we go.
You can see it a little bit better.
There we go. Hello.
How's it going?
Good. A little bit of a scramble tonight because we were at a track meet.
Yeah.
So kind of get home and fix some dinner. Like,
hopefully we didn't rush you too much.
No, we had stuff all set, so it's just a matter of grilling the chicken, and it's like, okay, I'm out. You guys clean up dinner.
Yeah, you got it right on the grill, or you did on a stovetop?
Right on the grill.
nice.
Right
All
on the
right.
grill. Made some biscuits and steamed some broccoli. So
Beautiful. Yeah.
yeah.
Funny story. My neighbor feeds all of the chipmunks and squirrels like 50 pounds of corn every week.
Oh,
And yeah, so what they like to do, I think they think it's funny. They come over and they chew my grill hose in half.
oh,
So
jeez.
so so the second time I've replaced it, but so this time I was going to replace it, but I got sidetracked. And then I threw away the old hose, but I didn't put the new hose on. And then I lost the old hose. I was like, oh man, where the kids put the stupid thing? So we couldn't grill for like a month because I just
Oh,
I didn't want to get another one. And this last weekend we went hiking with the dog. Come to find out, I hung it up with the dog leashes. So
I could see how it would blend in. That could be an issue.
yeah, yeah. So
Funny.
plus I just don't pay enough attention, I guess. So
Now, thankfully, with the dogs, like we really don't get squirrels or anything
nice.
in our yard. We
Yeah.
get rabbits, and that's kind of about it.
We
But
we had a rabbit stuck on our fence last week actually.
oh, we
Yeah, so
have what is a nest of baby bunnies calls it? There's
I forget what the
there's a word for it.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
thinking like a clutch,
Maybe, yeah, I think you might be right.
something like that. But there's a
Yeah,
word for it.
yeah.
There was
I
a
should know this.
nest under our deck, so my husband had gone
Wow.
under the deck like to move the hose spigot, and
Okay.
he went right past it, didn't even see it because it was all
Wow.
just buried over. But our dog got under there. They're like,
Oh,
hey,
wow.
well then
Ah, really? Got
you
him.
kind of heard.
Yeah,
So
yeah, of
we got
course.
him out. I think there was one met its demise,
Okay.
but
Well, I mean, it's still pretty good though,
yeah,
you know?
the rest we got him
Yeah,
out and put him back.
yeah.
So
Poor
we'll
guys.
see.
Yeah, what are you
But
gonna do? Stosh, actually, Stosh joined too. Stosh, give me a thumbs up when you're ready, and I can pop you in here too. All right, cool. He's ready. So because I've got a good story, but so
hey,
Donna,
Stash,
What's going on?
Stosh, awesome. It's good to see you guys.
Good to see you.
good
Yeah,
to see you guys.
we were just talking about a nest of baby rabbits that Donna had. She
Oh.
fed them to her dog.
Under our deck. Is there a word for like what the nest is called? Is it like
See, I can't remember.
Maybe like a
I-
rabbit's den.
there's
See,
a word
she said
for it.
clutch.
Like a
I mean,
clutch?
yeah, clutch sounds familiar.
I'm gonna ask Google.
So we actually what was it yesterday, day before yesterday, whatever day that was, Sunday I guess, we came home from a hike and we got in our driveway and we saw this little red squirrel pulling itself across the driveway. So apparently it fell out of the nest and it was pretty high up, so his back legs don't work anymore. But we were able to grab him. We got him warm, and we got some of the special food to give him and everything. So, so he's happy
a
right
warren.
now.
It's called a warren.
Oh, Warren.
That was
okay.
the other word I was thinking. Like a warren. Like I said, clutch,
That's cool.
but it's called a warren.
So
There we go.
that's pretty neat.
Inquiring minds want to know.
I learned something. That's good. But yeah, so we've got him inside in a cage, and we've got an area expert coming. We're going to take it tomorrow to see if she can take care of it from now on. So
Yeah, we had one fall out of our tree in the backyard 2 summers ago.
okay.
And the nest, of course they want you to put it back in the nest, but there was no way we could.
No, they're like
It
40
was
foot up in the
probably,
air.
it was like 40,
Yeah.
50 feet up in the air, and it had fallen out, I'm guessing because we had a windstorm.
Okay.
And like some of the nesting material had fallen out. So like I tried to call a few people, and eventually an animal rehabilitator came and took it.
Cool. Yeah.
So
Geez, man, actually talking about that, I was out back with Charlotte a couple weeks back, and we're just hanging out, having ice cream or whatever. And all of a sudden I watched the squirrel drop and it hit the ground, and I was probably 75 feet away from it, and I heard him hit the ground.
Oh
And
wow.
it wasn't a baby, it was a young one. There two of them were playing in the tree, and one of them just fell right down. But apparently a squirrel, you can drop it pretty much from any height and they're good. Like they're even better than cats. So this one, it hit and it stayed still for a good 5 minutes. And Charlotte saw it and she started walking towards it, and it walked over to the tree and eventually, went up the tree. But yeah, it's pretty incredible.
At least it was okay.
Yeah, definitely. So, we didn't really do kind of introductions or anything. Donna, if you wanted to kind of introduce yourself real quick.
Sure. I'm Donna McCabe. I live out near the Buffalo area. I have written blog posts for Dig the Falls for a lot of my waterfall trips. I've completed
Absolutely.
the New York State 100 Challenge, the Finger Lakes Challenge, recent completer of the Adirondack 50 Challenge.
Congratulations.
Thanks. Working on the Hudson Valley Challenge.
Nice.
We're hikers and just love getting outside now that our kids are a little bit older and we have the ability and the time to get out and explore more.
Awesome.
That's me.
How about you, Stash?
What's going on? My name is Stash. I am a member of Dig the Falls. I have been for a while now. I hate to say this every time. I don't remember when, but
Yeah,
it had to be at least 10 years ago, maybe 9 or 10 years ago.
easily.
I am a member of the 3500 Club, Catskill 3500 Club, second vice president. I am on a search and rescue team in the Catskill Mountains. And I maintain trail in Catskill Mountains. I volunteer. We just got done with a stewardship intro and stuff for that, for the trailhead program that we are having, which is really, it's going to be fantastic. Actually, it launches off this Friday, which is very, very scary. So,
Do you want to explain that a little bit? Can you go into it?
Yeah. So, New York State opted into a new program called Adopt a Trailhead program, where anybody could lend a hand at trailheads. Most popular ones would be preferable.
Right.
We are doing the 3500 Club is doing Slide Mountain this year, which is the tallest mountain in the Catskills, one of the most popular mountains in the Catskills. So that will be great. We're just there to welcome people and give them information on anything, everything, hiking in Catskills, leave no trace, camping etiquette, hiking etiquette, other things like that. So I think we got a good amount of volunteers for the summer months. I think we're doing every weekend from Memorial Day to Labor Day.
Wow.
So, but I don't know if we have volunteers for that much, but for a first year, we got a pretty good, a decent amount. So
that's cool.
It's very nerve-wracking, but it's pretty cool.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, early on in the in the broadcast, I was actually talking about Leave No Trace and the litter, and it's shutting down some of the areas. And I don't know if you wanted to add a little bit of insight for the Leave No Trace.
Yeah, sure. Like you said, there is one place that's a hotspot. It was actually the national hotspot. It was in the Catskill Mountains, called the Peakamoose Blue Hole. Like 2 years ago, it became a Leave No Trace national hotspot, and it was like big on national news and all over the world of how disgusting the place became. I hiked there, like I started hiking in the Catskills probably like 6 years ago, and the first time I went there, I was blown away by how beautiful it was, but there was nobody there. It was crazy. And then within 2 years, because of Instagram and Facebook, social media, that place became a mess where people would just throw parties there, leave their grills there, they would leave their tinfoil there, they would leave their food there, and there was no way to throw it out. And I don't know why they just didn't bring it home with them, but they didn't. And that became a huge hotspot for the Leave No Trace program. And what they did was, they had stewards there informing people. Eventually, they had to get permit systems there because of how popular the place got. There would be, I would hear over hundreds and hundreds of people there on the weekend when this place is no bigger than the size of a football.
That's nuts.
Yeah, it was really sad. And now because of that, we as hikers that are not even going to the Blue Hole have to get permits to hike that mountain too. So
that's great.
It's definitely rough, but Leave No Trace is definitely helping out. Carry out what you carry, and it's that simple. It's not that difficult.
No.
So Donna, do you have any experiences like that out in Western New York?
Eternal Flame is a huge trail that's in the Chestnut Ridge
Yep.
Park down, Orchard Park, south of Buffalo. It's a great park. Eternal Flame is very popular. I can't say I've seen a lot of garbage when I go there, but I think just in general, we're just seeing garbage everywhere. That the places I've been recently have actually been pretty clean.
Nice.
I'm really happy about that.
Absolutely.
So maybe people are starting to realize this, but like anything, nobody's perfect. I get it, things happen, but just in the main course of your hike, make sure you take out what you bring in.
Yeah. I mentioned earlier on in the broadcast, it's like my kids are kind of trained that they know when we're going on a hike, we're going to be taking something out because we always pick stuff up on the trails. And the very first thing they do when they hop out of that car is grab trash in a parking lot. And it's like, you'd expect to see it possibly on the trails, but in the parking lot, you would think, okay, well, your car is right there. You can keep it right there and be done with it. But and I didn't call anything out by name because it's really disgusting to find in the parking lot. But there are just certain things that you find in the parking lot you don't want anybody touching without some kind of gloves or something on. So and you find that a lot, and you really don't want your kids to be experiencing something like that.
No.
So,
One thing I've noticed, because I go to Letchworth quite a bit, is trying to get different pictures, especially up by Upper Falls. Like you kind of look over the stone walls and there's the dog poop bags. There's all this garbage. It's like, why? You think because you throw it over the stone wall, nobody's going to see it, that it's okay. Like, come on.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's a big peeve of mine. Like, if you take the time to put the dog poop in a bag, take the bag with you.
Yeah. I don't know if you guys have ever done this. Like, this is me when I was younger, first having dogs. It's like, I would say, oh, well, I'm just going to leave it here on the side of the trail because I'm going to walk right back through here and remember to just grab it.
Yes.
And, and literally every time I did that, I would forget it. And then you get back to the car, you're like, oh man. And you don't go back, So I'm guilty of that in my past, but I've kind of grown a little more conscious of, making the effort or dealing with the smell of the poop, if that makes sense. So,
I mean, if you're going to go the effort to put it in a bag, take it with you.
Right. Exactly.
That's just, you throw it in this bright purple bag or bright orange bag. You think nobody's going to see it?
Yeah. And
throw it way off the trail. Like, come on.
Yeah. I don't want to make this a thing because it nobody should be doing this, but it would be better to kick it off the side of the trail rather than leave the plastic bag there.
That's what I've said too.
I'm not advocating that at all because that shouldn't be done either, but still. So Stas, you've been on any good hikes recently?
Of course, as always.
As always.
We recently, my wife and I just recently did Eagle Mountain in the Catskills from McKinley Hollow, which is a real buster. It's It's got over, I think it was over like 2,300 feet of gain. So
whoa, nice.
It was almost 9 mile hike, and she crushed it. It was sweaty, or it was muggy, it was bugs, but I told her, like, this trail is definitely one of my top 3. So and there's no views anywhere, but you at least get the whole wilderness experience. There's everything on that trail. Flowers were everywhere. We saw snakes, toads, listened to birds that I've never heard. We listened to the thrush. There was a thrush up there. I'm trying to I forgot why. The funny thing is I heard it and I stopped, and then they kept going, and I just sat there and I'm just like, never heard this before. So luckily I have an app on my phone that records it, and I got to record it. I forgot what it's fun, but I heard that, and I heard what they call an oven bird.
An oven.
Yeah, it's very.
I've heard of that one.
Yeah.
But the what's it called? The other bird was absolutely phenomenal. It was a hermit thrush. If you ever listen to the sound, they're awesome. Their little songs that they sing are beautiful.
Oh, that's awesome.
But yeah, it was a hell of a hike.
What bird app did you use to record that?
BirdNet.
BirdNet. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause I'm sure people would be interested in that. That's
Yeah,
cool.
it's BirdNet. Bird with NET and then all capitalized.
Okay.
It
Sweet.
listens to it through the microphone and then observes it. You can analyze it and then it'll tell you what's playing. I've gotten really good results that are pretty accurate actually.
Okay. That's cool.
So, yeah, that was the most recent one. That was sweaty. That's all I gotta say.
Was that this last weekend?
Yeah. It was, and then we got on the way down, it started to rain a little bit. And then we stopped and we were just like standing there and all of a sudden it started pouring for maybe like 5 seconds. And I was ready to get everything out and I did, and then it stopped raining.
Oh, nice.
So it was a nice little coder. And once you get up a certain part of the mountain, the wind is blowing, and then you get down the other side, there's no wind at all. So like we weren't dealing with the bugs on the way up most of the way, but on the way down, the bugs were horrible. The black flies were horrible. But yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I actually heard even in the Adirondacks, the black flies are getting really bad right now too. So,
Yeah, they're not fun.
no. I wasn't being rude. I was listening, but I was looking for the park that we went to north of Glenville. It's like this phenomenal, like it used to be an old farmstead. So there's the remains of some of the old farmhouses and outbuildings and wells and everything. But it's called Anchor Diamond Park, and it's pretty much all flat, like the entire thing. It's what you would think an old piece of farming property would be, but now you've got a little bit of old growth along with pretty much everything else just growing up from the farmland, and you have a couple of spots where the rows of trees are planted, and you get a nice, very straight kind of walk. It's and the trees are just humongous there. It's amazing.
Nice.
Perfect for kids because like there's a creek that flows through there, and the kids, they get to catch the frogs and do whatever they want. It's really great.
Nice.
And it's historic, so it's always nice. But I wanted to get that out of the way before I forgot, because I'm good at forgetting things. So.
Cool.
But what about you, Donna? Which ones have you done lately?
We were just up in Tupper Lake this weekend. We did the Triad. We did the winter version, so we completed the summer version, and then we drove up to Whiteface. And I've been up there quite a few times. Like I've never hiked the trail up. We always take the road up. Mm-hmm. But it was the first time from the castle at the top that we took the trail up to the observatory up there.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I've never done that before. I'm sure there's plenty, and I knew it was not going to be like a simple walk. The first starts at stairs, which we all know, like you get enough stairs, it will kill you. But we're just kind of climbing up, and we have sneakers and everything's fine. But there's people coming after us with like flip flops and sandals on. I was like, oh my gosh, so I'm hanging on to the as we're climbing over the boulders and everything else, trying to hang on. It's like,
oh my,
yes, yeah. Only a fifth of a mile, but this is something.
It's interesting. So we photographed a wedding at the top of that. So we started at the castle. We photographed the ceremony there, and then we took the bride, groom, and bridal party up to the top. And it was like a crazy day. Like it was crazy foggy. Cloudy. And so it was really, really cool. We got to the top. It absolutely poured. Just it let loose. So the ranger, of course, the lift is never working. So, so we're stuck there at the top, and we were there for about 45 minutes, and finally it slowed down, stopped raining. And it's like, yeah, there's no way you guys are going to walk down there, because you guys know as soon as that water, the rock face gets wet, like you might as well be ice. It's out of control.
Yeah.
So
even coming down with it dry, like,
yeah.
Like, and I had sneakers on, like I didn't have my hiking boots, but there's a few spots like, I'm making sure I'm holding on tight. You just don't know.
I had like dressy hikers on, and it was pretty slippery for me. I mean, I grew up in sandals, like in creek beds, like that was just my life. But like some of these people, like they weren't hikers, and they had those dress shoes on. Yeah, and there's nothing to them. So,
the one guy behind us, he was probably in his early 20s. He had on like the not like flip flops, but like the slides. And I'm like,
Wow.
okay, it's
Yeah.
an
Nice.
interesting one, but
Wow.
okay, good for you.
Jess,
But-
Jess also on her own, she photographed a wedding on top of the mountain, but they started out. So the bridegroom and the bridal party hiked from the bottom to the top of Whiteface, and it was like their 46th peak.
oh, okay.
So,
I
so
remember that.
yeah, so they finished off the 46th peak, and then they got to the top and got married, and she hiked that entire thing with her gear and everything. It's nuts. Yeah.
Was that the one with the lightning picture?
No, not that one. Jeez, no. That was another crazy time too. Yeah. We but no, the one with the lightning picture was the one that we got stuck at the top.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, so that was the previous one. So, but yeah, we got crazy lucky with that lightning picture. So
Yeah, thankfully we didn't have any rain, but
yeah, it's
we
good.
did Goodman and Coney on Friday, and it was like 90 degrees.
Oh
Like,
man.
we're talking May in the Adirondacks, and it's 90. Like, this is nuts.
Yeah.
Like, the bugs weren't horrible.
Okay.
It really wasn't until we did the trail to OK Slip Falls on Sunday that we noticed the bugs were worse.
Yeah.
But
This is more humid though, right?
yeah, Sunday was definitely
Yeah.
more humid. We had a little bit of rain, but we were well enough into the trail, like we didn't get drenched because it was
Okay.
more like a misty rain. So it wasn't horrible, but
Yeah.
90 in May, like, it was not fun.
Yeah.
Not fun, but we did it, and then we did Arab on Saturday morning, and we headed out early because we knew it was going to get warm again. But we did that one,
Nice.
early enough. So
What was your experience as far as kind of doing the triad as far as like the finishing the paperwork and stuff? Is pretty
super easy.
Yeah.
Like, you can do it right online.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you can fill out the paper and mail it in, or you can register right online. Super
Wow.
easy, and it's $5 per person.
Yeah.
And you just put in your credit card right on the website. Like, it was super
Beautiful.
easy. Yeah.
Nice.
And even getting our winter one, and it could be, if winter volumes are down, like, I would think there's more people doing it now. But I want to say we had our stickers and patches like within 2 weeks.
Oh wow.
So
Nice.
yeah, we got them fast. And I would think this one, I just did it today. They said to give them 3 weeks. So we'll see how that goes. But we're in no rush for it.
Yeah. Even 3
So-
weeks isn't that bad though.
Cool.
Depending on,
No,
yeah.
no, not at all. And I guess I would just rather do it online, so they get everything right away and they don't have to worry
Right.
about the mail and whatever. But you just put in your name. They have the 3 mountains listed. You have to put in your date and your total time, and then just your payment information, your address, and all that, and good to go.
Okay, so you have to track your time as far as how long it took you to.
I
do
don't
it.
think you have to, but they have a field like to put that in. Like, you have to at
okay.
least put the date that you did
Yeah.
them,
Yeah.
but I don't think you have to put your time. But I did. They were. I think the lowest one was like an hour, 5 minutes. Because just we took some
pretty good.
time. Like, we
Yeah.
weren't racing up them or anything like that. So just took our time and just
How
had fun.
Stash? How does the 3500? Do they do that? Like, because I haven't looked into it like in crazy detail. So
Really, you just have to fill out your form and send it in to Dave White, who is an amazing Catskill Mountain legend. Him and Carol have written several books about the Catskills and the Adirondacks.
nice.
And usually it takes around like 2 to 3 weeks for you to get your patch and stuff.
Okay.
What do you have to
Um,
do for it?
For the club,
Yeah.
you have to hike all 35 peaks above 3,500.
Okay.
And then you have to hike 4 in the winter to get your patch and be in the club.
Awesome.
That's cool.
So a total of 39 or 37 hikes.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Not
some
too
of
bad.
them, I think 14 of them are bushwhacks.
Oh really? Holy cow.
Bushwhacks.
Should-
I make them into real bushwhacks when they're not really bushwhacks. So like
That's awesome.
Jessica and I did one of the mountains called Hockett, and apparently there's a major herd path off of the side of a waterfall, and it goes up all the way up to the top. I missed it, supposedly, and we just bushwhacked straight up to the top, and we followed the herd path down. And Jessica's like, the way you took up was so much easier than this way. I'm just like, guess we got lucky. But I've always taken that route up from where we went, so I was familiar with it. But this herd path looked like a regular trail. It just was
Okay.
crappy and rocky and everything.
So many people have been up there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
This used to not be, say, 5-6 years ago when I was starting out doing this and stuff. I barely see any herd paths unless they're on the top of the mountain to the canister.
Wow, that's crazy.
So now you can easily follow a herd path up a mountain and get back down without bushwhacking.
Nice. I think the good thing to stop and say there is that I think we said this in one of our last broadcasts too, is if there's mud, walk through it.
Yes.
So like on a lot of these paths, you'll see 2 or 3 of them that'll kind of come around and then come back again. And really, the idea is just to keep going straight through the mud. You're gonna get muddy. Who cares?
Yep.
But it saves the path and it creates less mud areas for people later on, basically.
Yep.
So,
I wish I had the pictures now to show some of the places where people skip going through the mud, and then all of a sudden they're making 2 different forks in the road just to get around the mud. It's really really stinks.
Yeah, so some of the smaller preserves around here are exactly like that. Like, they're very clearly marked and everything, and they've got logs there so you don't go around, and people will still skip the mud.
Yep.
And I get it. You don't want to get your shoes muddy, but you're hiking. So I was of the mindset, and I think I said this one of the last ones too, is a long time ago, I was of the mindset that, well, you're not supposed to walk in the mud because you're getting the mud more muddy and you're loosening it up, making it worse. And no, I didn't realize the other flip side of that was, but then you're creating another pathway for more mud to be created. So, walk through the mud.
Yeah, it's definitely.
I was thinking that too for a long time. That I don't want to go through the mud, and I don't want to make the mud worse.
Yeah.
But realize, like, walk through it, because then you're just expanding the muddy area.
Yep.
Can you hear the dogs?
They're
I'm
having
going to
fun.
mute myself and take care of the dogs.
That's all right. That's funny. That's my dogs would always do the same thing too. When they were around, they'd always start rustling at the worst times. So
Same here.
Do you have 2 yet? You have 2?
Who, me?
Yeah. Or do you have just the one?
Oh, she left. I have 3.
You have. Wait a minute. How did I not know that you have 3 dogs?
There's Lydia, the black dog. There's
Yeah.
Dexter, the corgi, and then there's Dahlia, the one from Jamaica.
See, I knew about Dahlia, but you know what? I've seen them, but I always thought they were all the same dogs. But they're obviously very different from each other. So
yeah,
right.
Yeah.
I need to pay attention more, I guess.
No, it's all good. You have a busy life anyway, so.
Well, yeah, I was saying earlier that with the kids, like my hiking kind of stopped once Charlotte came around. And I was saying to myself, how do people do anything with more than one kid? Like, we can't do anything with just one.
Yeah.
And then so, and the cats are dropping something there. So, the cats they're constantly dropping things in the other room. So, but yeah, like then we had the twins, obviously, and that kind of changed everything. So.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine how you guys do things. It's really really crazy.
Yeah,
it is very interesting. Jesus.
Carl and I actually walked Burden Pond, and I actually took all 3 kids with me, and Charlotte was 5, the boys were 3, and I spent the entire time either carrying them, trying to stop them, yelling at them, or pulling them up the trails.
But the good thing is, even though they're 2 years apart,
yeah,
they'll get to the point to be able to do it all together.
Yes.
So it's not like you're going to have Charlotte, several years ahead, and she can do it, but they can't.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
So-
true. Well, right now we're kind of at that point. So like last week I took both boys out on the trails and they did phenomenal. They listened, they did really well. They were looking at everything, catching everything. And then over the weekend Jess and I took all three of them, and up until the last 100 yards, everything went awesome. And then, then like they started showing that they were tired and they're crying. They don't want to go to the car. And, so yeah, the last 100 yards were horrible, but the rest of it was really fun. It was great.
It was horrible. We the hike that we just did was with a couple that had a 2-year-old kid.
Right.
So
Jeez.
that was
Ay, ay, ay.
he was phenomenal. It's
Yeah.
crazy how phenomenal. Well, they also carried him most of the way.
Yeah.
So but he was a lot of fun. In the beginning, this was we met them on the top of a mountain the previous week, and then they offered to the next week. They wanted to see if we want to go hiking, so we went. And he stared at us. When we got to the top, he started talking with us, and
Nice.
then on the way down, he's just looking back in the backpack, just looking at us and trying to talk with us. So it was really cool. So he was 2 years old.
Wow. Yeah, and I was saying, Charlotte was 2. By the time Charlotte was 2, I think one of those sets of parents had like a kid that was 4 that did the 46ers. And that was around the same time that happened. It was like, geez, like, we're kind of weak. Like we got this.
We're in survival mode, not
Yeah,
mountain mode.
Yeah, right.
Yep. I mean, we did spend the first year. She had really bad colic, so like the first year, both of us, not just one, both of us were up at least 7 times a night, just dealing with her colic. So I lean on that a little bit as far as not calling myself a wuss too badly.
You got to do
So-
what's right for your family, and you'll get there.
Oh,
You're already
absolutely.
starting to do stuff with them. How much they appreciate being outside and
Oh,
what
man.
you're exposing them to. Like,
Yeah.
think of how many people don't even do that.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah, yeah. It's incredible.
that-
I mean,
the kids that get outside and they have no idea what they're doing, and dressed, I don't want to say inappropriately, but they could definitely be better prepared. So,
dude, my kids will be naked chasing a turkey. So,
Yep.
so they
They
don't
do.
care. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
kids are a bit unpredictable. You never know.
Yeah, my
Keep you on your toes.
Jackson caught this huge garter snake this weekend, and for some reason the brown ones, there's some of them that are brown, and then some of them that are just darker, kind of bluish or blackish. But the brown ones, for some reason, are they're mean. Like they'll just try to bite, like right off the bat.
Mhm.
And right away he got whacked right in the finger, and it gobbled up his whole end of his finger. He took it off. He got mad at it, and then he caught it. He caught the thing. So
I can't wait to see what your kids are going to be. Like Charlotte is going to be an awesome human. I have a feeling she's going to be something involving with the woods and being like a
Oh, yeah.
forester.
oh yeah, something.
She better be a forester. I could see her
Awesome.
just like going out there and doing anything and everything that you can in the forest.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
it's going to be definitely awesome to see what happens, what she
Oh, yeah.
becomes.
Yeah, and she's got a very huge maternal instinct too. Like with the squirrel that we found, like she wants to help Jess feed it. She's like creating bedding, and she keeps checking it. Last night she sang it songs so it could get to sleep.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
Well, we
she's
saw how
awesome.
much they love their chickens too. So
Oh yes,
It's
yes,
not-
and their chickens. Yes, they are.
he loves everything.
Yeah. So Jess's animal rescue Charlotte. That's probably going to be her as animal rescue for sure.
We're gonna
So-
see her on one of those shows. We have to call the animal rescue
Yep.
expert, and there's gonna be Charlotte. That's awesome.
So I
That's
love it.
awesome. But you got to take the wins. Like, look what you're exposing your kids to, and
Yeah.
they have the freedom to explore it
Yeah.
safely, but
Yep.
within some kind of boundary. But
Right.
they have that freedom, and how many parents don't do that?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, so we push the bounds a little bit. So our neighbors are a little worried for us sometimes. Like they kind of look over, like, why are they on top of the grill? Like, but like, so Jackson, whenever he's walking around, and he'll have his, let me say, he'll have his hands like this, and you'll see just this little tiny hole right here. It's like, okay, what are you doing, man? What do you have in your hand? And he'll walk over, and most times it's like just a kind of creepy little animal or bug or whatever. But the other half of the times, he'll open it just a little bit more, like just this much more, and out will crawl like a wolf spider. And it'll literally be like one of those bigger wolf spiders. And he's
No
just got it in his
thanks.
hand. Like, what?
Wow.
Oh, God. Yeah,
Nope.
yeah. Like spiders don't freak me out until they're big like that. And that just, yeah. But
Nope.
no,
Spiders are a no-go.
Nice.
he walked over to me one day with a bee. Like he had a bee like this between his fingers, and it's like hitting his like fingernail, trying to sting him. And the kid, I don't know how he does it.
That's wicked.
insane. So yeah, it's crazy. We let him pretty much kind of, you know, I don't know. We keep an eye on them. We're like eagle eyes when they're out back, but we let them, you know, get into whatever they want back there. It's a lot of fun. So
Keep them safe. You
Yeah.
know the boundaries, and that's what you got to do.
yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. So, well, we're over an hour now, so I think what we're gonna do is, like always, I try to do a couple of shout outs before the end, or just some, you know, whatever you want to do. But Donna, I know I always catch you off guard with the shout outs.
You do. Oh, what do I have recently? I don't know. I'm going to defer to Stosh. Let me think.
Nice.
Thanks.
Fine.
Shout out to everybody who's doing Leave No Trace.
Yes.
To our forest rangers who are working hard, and the foresters and everybody within that limit, because this is only right now is the time that it's just going to skyrocket to where everything's going to be maximum capacity and sorry to say, but shit's going to hit the fan.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
definitely, and thanks to everybody following the rules.
Cool. Absolutely. Donna, back to you.
I will, even though everybody's going to head up there, Adirondacks. It's
Nice.
you're going up there. Be safe. Be smart. It just don't be an idiot and leave garbage like the Leave No Trace. Just,
Yep.
But if you see something, pick it up.
Yeah. Totally.
That I'm one of those people. You know, like obviously, like there's certain things I'm not going to pick up. You know, like some of those dirty diapers and that kind of thing. But you know, if you're going to go out there, you know, take something with you to pick stuff up. I think I only picked up a bottle cap this whole weekend.
Nice.
So the 3 mountains that we did,
Wow.
everything was clean. Like there was nothing in the parking lots. Like
That's
it was
awesome.
great.
Wow.
So kind of taking a little bit on Stosh's, but like, yeah, like people are following it, people are doing it, but if you're not, clean yourself up. And
So I'm actually going to shout out the waterfall challenges. So the Finger Lake, the Hudson Valley, the Adirondack 50, and the New York State one. The only reason I'm going to shout those out is because of what Stosh said about you know, shit hitting the fan. Everyone's going to come out in droves. They're all going to head to the exact same areas. The waterfall challenges have not blown up yet, which means that there's going to be minimal traffic to a lot of the waterfalls mentioned in those challenges. So I would say if anybody wants to go to places that aren't going to be completely chaos, pick up those books. All you have to do is go to Amazon, search John Haywood, and his books should come up, and you know, do them. You know, even if you don't plan on doing the entire challenge, at least you've got some places to hike that nobody else is probably going to be at. So, or very few at least. So check those out. But otherwise, appreciate everyone for the comments. Leave more comments if you have questions or comments or requests or anything like that. We'll be following through, checking those out. But thanks a lot for everyone that joined in tonight.